everyone, welcome to LexTalk, World Talk Show presented by Clickable Creators. Today we have Meenakshi Kalra with us. Meenakshi is a practicing advocate on record in Supreme Court of India, having 9 years of experience. Her litigation experience includes work in civil and criminal matters and also matters related to arbitration, insurance matters, debt recovery matters, consumer law, and labor law. Currently, Meenakshi is pursuing doctorate in law from Amity University in the field of arbitration and also completed her LLM from Amity University in the field of international law. Not only that, but Meenakshi is currently empaneled with various organizations in the public sector and private sector. I have a lot to talk about Meenakshi and her firm, which was founded by her father, Mr. S.N. Kalra, advocate, and Ms. Raj Kalra, advocate, the firm's managing partner. But without any further ado, let me just introduce you to the woman herself, Meenakshi Kalra. Hello, Meenakshi. How are you?
Hi, thanks for such wonderful introduction. It's my honor to be a part of this interview. And I thank you for this wonderful opportunity that you've given me.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure, Meenakshi. I would really, love to know more about the firm that you're with right now, which was founded by Mr. S.N. Kalra. So can you please tell me something about it?
So this firm was started in the year 1980s. Like 1989 was the time when it was actually started by my father and my mother, both being lawyers and being very passionate about this profession. And subsequently, even before I was born, it was decided that, I will be becoming a lawyer. So this firm was started by them. Our firm basically deals with the civil and criminal matters and the company matters. We are empaneled with a lot of organizations. I, being an advocate on record, have also contributed to this firm. And now I'm also a partner in this firm. So we jointly are thriving towards our passion, towards this legal industry and trying to make a mark.
That's lovely. That's lovely. Thank you. Thank you so much for throwing light on the firm that you're with right now. Now, moving towards your journey as a legal professional, please tell us about a complex legal issue that you have worked on. Like, describe the complexity and maybe how did you approach it?
Yeah. So I believe in a lawyer's profession, in our field, basically, there are a lot of days when you have such complex issues that come up suddenly, or probably there are certain cases which are so complex. And I think that's the place where a good lawyer actually shows his skills and proves himself properly. And I believe every case that I've dealt with, I'm sure has been a challenge, or probably, there has been cases where it was very difficult, but with my expertise and with my dedication, I've actually formed complexities and unsolved them. One of the major case that I want to discuss actually is one of the first cases that I did, being an advocate on record. It was during the pandemic time, wherein the virtual system, everything was so new for each one of us. And we filed an SLP during that online procedure, and the online filing was done. Thereafter, the virtual hearings were also happening. The whole procedure happened in a span of 3 months, where my SLP was filed, it was heard, the notice was issued. Subsequently, my SLP was also allowed, and then the civil appeal was also allowed and decreed in my favor. So this case was one of the remarkable cases wherein, in the period of pandemic, wherein everything was very new for each one of us, I actually dealt with this matter, which I believe was a very complex matter, because they were in a criminal court, which is the High Court. High Court had basically given a civil relief order, stating that the property has to be transferred to an estate, which is way beyond the criminal jurisdiction. And then in that manner, we had challenged that order, saying that the criminal court did not have the jurisdiction to actually give a civil relief in a criminal matter. So this was challenged before the Supreme Court. The SLP was allowed, and all happened within a span of 3 months. So this was a very remarkable thing, which I believe was remarkable because of the thing that everything was so new. Being the pandemic, everybody was actually so affected by it. Despite the same, everybody had that dedication to give the justice delivery system and give them access to the justice delivery system, because of which even the courts and the parties and even the lawyers themselves, everybody was thriving towards it, and everybody was actually contributing for the virtual platform to be a benefit for the society and give the justice delivery system to each one of us. So that is one case which I believe was very remarkable, a little complex as well, but I'm sure everybody's efforts actually turned out to be well, and it actually the decree was given in our favor.
That's absolutely amazing. And yes, it sounds complex as well.
Yeah.
So,
And being in Supreme Court, I believe a matter being filed in 3 months and getting a civil appeal allowed in your favor within 3 months is very difficult, in the physical manner. Virtually, it happened. It was a really surprising thing for each one of us. But yeah, it turned out really well.
When you're actually talking about the virtual hearings and the virtual court hearings that that you're moving towards now, we have actually moved towards it.
It is a new trend, and I'm sure it's gonna be here to stay. It's very important.
So yes, absolutely, you are absolutely correct. So my next question was actually about that only, that the pandemic has seen a lot of courts moving towards remote proceedings and
Yeah.
So, in your opinion, is this like really sustainable and a possible way to maybe increase the access to justice? What's your opinion?
See, I believe COVID-19 has not only disrupted the health sector, but also the justice delivery system. Pandemic has brought a remarkable change in our lifestyle and in the legal profession as well, because everybody was duly affected by it. But I believe that the pandemic has actually taught each one of us, especially, how to turn our weaknesses into strength. And I think that can be clearly seen in the legal industry as well, wherein there is a complete technological shift that has happened, and everybody is actually, it was very new for each one of us, but still, even the judges and even the court staff and even the lawyers themselves, everybody actually contributed to the technological shift, and everybody has actually made it a little easier for the justice delivery system to continue even during the pandemic time, and during the lockdown even the matters were being heard. So I think courts around the world also, I think, have responded wonderfully to the challenges which is being presented by the pandemic, and the transition from the face-to-face proceedings, to the online court proceedings is impeccable. And I think this is here to stay. This is definitely here to stay, and it is most important. I think that each one of us should actually strive more towards the technological shift, because that has brought the world closer. Because I see a lot of arbitration that are happening virtually, which are overseas, and I see a lot of matters. In fact, my own clients personally, they were in a different country altogether, and they attended the proceedings here. They saved time. They did not have to travel to India to attend the court proceedings, which was a wonderful thing. So I believe access to justice through this technological shift has actually brought the world closer, and actually saving time. The process has become faster. And I think if a little bit of the fine tuning and the infrastructure, if made, if it made a little stronger, probably this is a new way to go forward. And as recently also the Supreme Court also said the same thing, that virtual is here to stay. Justice Chandrachud, who's a remarkable person himself, and he himself said that the technology and the virtual hearings are here to stay, because this is something that actually helping a lot of us to actually attend the court proceedings. It's easier for the clients, it's easier for the lawyers as well, and for the judges also. It's just that little fine tuning and a little guidance and a little technological stronger thing is important. And I think if it's there, probably this access to justice is going to be a little more easier and faster, considering the technological aspect.
That you're absolutely right, and I 100% agree with you. That was your point of view when it comes to the sustainability also, maybe, right?
Yeah.
But like, if I ask you personally, like, what would you prefer? Would you prefer a virtual hearing, or you like that particular aura and vibe when you enter into the courtroom? And I know I asked a tough question.
Yeah, it's not really a tough question, but it's a one thing that it's very difficult for a lawyer to choose between a virtual hearing and a physical hearing, because as you said, the aura and the arguments and the way you present yourself in the courts, it's much easier, and it's much better because the understanding and the interaction that you have with the judge is much better and far more distractful in the virtual proceedings because of sudden disruption that happen. But in the physical hearing, there is a direct connection between the judge and you, and the way you convince the judge, it's very important. So I think I'll not be a critic here. I'll be rather a supporter of virtual hearings, but I believe both have their equal benefits and their limitations. So there are certain benefits of the virtual hearings, since everybody was under lockdown and it was very difficult to actually give the reliefs to the clients. And I believe there was no other option other than to switch to virtually. And in that manner, I think it's been easier for a lot of clients also, because when you're in a different country and you have a case pending in another country, you can join virtually, you can attend the proceedings. You don't have to waste your time traveling and then coming here and then probably then going back again. So that in that way, I think virtual hearings should be there. And as the Supreme Court has recently also stated that the hybrid mode is I think the benefit. So in that way, I think hybrid manner, people who are benefiting with the virtual things can deal with the virtual hearings, and people I think who believe that the physical hearings, because I believe there are certain limitations regarding the generation, that the older generation is a little affected by the virtual hearings. So I believe it'll be very unfair to take sides between the virtual and the physical hearings. So in that manner, I believe the hybrid mode is the best perfect way to go forward. And I think it should be easier for the judges as well, and the lawyers, definitely.
Beautifully put into words. Thank you, Meenakshi, for answering that question. Now let's talk about time management. We all know that lawyers they're so busy with so difficult to manage time. And actually, let's just talk in generic way. Time is money in any profession, and in legal, it's most of all. So how do you ensure that you make the most, you make the best of your time and, particularly yourself? How do you manage everything?
See, I totally agree that time is money. And in our profession, probably time is the major factor which, works in for the money. So I think out of all the elements one has to work with, I think there is nothing more important than time. And the lawyer's ability to manage their time significantly actually shows up in their work and shows up in their actions. So because if you're not good at managing your time and managing your affairs and the cases, probably you can't be considered as a good lawyer. That's what I mean. And I think time is a valuable asset for a lawyer. I think if I'm not able to manage my time, probably I'll not do justice to my clients and not even do the profession as well. So I always try to plan my time. I have my to-do list, which is like a weekly list, a monthly list, and a daily list. And I keep checking and updating it. It's shared with my whole team. So anything, if anything is missing out, they actually call up and tell me that, this is what is now left out. So I think having a schedule and probably managing your time, having a to-do list is very, very important for a lawyer. Managing your calendar and your schedule is very important, because so far as my time is valuable, my client's time and my other, my teamwork's time and the judge's time is also very important. So in that manner, I think it's very important to manage the time properly. Another thing that I think is most important is that you always have to have a reserve of time. Reserve of time meaning that you have to reserve time for the unexpected emergencies that happen, or unexpected cases that come up, for any complexities that happen. So for that, I believe it's very important that in a day you have certain time, which is like the reserve time, in case anything crops up suddenly, so that your other work is not affected by it. So that is one thing I believe it's very important for a lawyer, because we being lawyers, we suddenly have so much work and so much pressure suddenly. There are certain cases which suddenly crop up and come up and which obviously need attention. And for that, obviously cannot, hamper the other cases which are going on. So it's very important to have a reserve time, which is very, necessary. I also try to allocate time for my to-do list. Whichever I do, I try to review whatever I've done in a day. So it's very important, whatever I do in a day, I follow up and check whether everything is in order and not, and whether, anything further needs to be done or not. Other than that, I think my team is very much important. The whole firm and the teamwork is very important. So I believe allocation of the work is one thing that I definitely vouch for, and I definitely do that because I believe running a firm it's not a joint, it's not a single person's effort, it's a joint effort. So allocation of time is very necessary. Other than that, I believe having the work-life balance is also important. I try to take out time for myself, my family, and my friends because I believe at the end of the day, it's very important that you need to have a work-life balance to maintain your sanity. So that is how I think I manage my time, and that contributes to the success.
Thank you so much, Meenakshi, for answering all the questions so beautifully and also sharing your 2 cents on every, actually all of the questions that were there are very like trending, right? They're all very
Yeah,
trending things. They're very
definitely. Thanks for
controversial.
asking such questions.
Always a pleasure, always a pleasure. And we just want your views and your opinions to reach out to as many people as possible so that they can, get to learn something or the other from your experience and journey. Thank you once again. It was lovely having you with us. And
The pleasure was all mine. Thank you for having me today.
anytime, anytime. We would love to have you again as well. So, and I'm very sure that we will meet again for for a quick chat on some other trending topic in the international legal space. At the same time, for our viewers, if you really like this chat with Meenakshi, please like and share this video and subscribe to Click Away Creators YouTube channel to appreciate what we do. And you have more coming from industry legal leaders like Ms. Kalra. This is Bharti
Thank you.
for LexTalk signing off. Take care. Bye.